Hello, welcome to today's session. Today we are going to go through TaxCloud, how you can prepare your income tax return using TaxCloud, and we are going to discuss a little bit about best practices. So thank you all the CA fraternity for joining with us today. My name is CA Saikat Roy, and I have been part of Clear for last 4.5 years. I handle the internal tax team, and with me today we have CA Nupur, who presently works at the product team at Clear. So we are going to wait for another minute or so that more people can join in, and let's hope we will be able to take out something very useful for the upcoming taxation. So stay tuned with us. Thank you. Good afternoon, all, and thank you so very much for joining with us. So before we start the walkthrough of TaxCloud, we are just going to go through certain best practices for income tax return filing, for which if you are going to keep certain items in mind. So basically this presentation, this session, 10 minutes of 5-10 minutes of session, that has been designed practically specifically for TaxCloud users. So if you are using TaxCloud, so I would suggest you to pay heed to this 5-10 minutes of session, so that the return filing can be done, return preparation and filing can be done in a very quick time, and errors could be minimized. Now, firstly, we are going to go through the best practices. So one of the most intriguing part of TaxCloud India is that we have enabled pre-filling the data. Now, pre-filling means getting the data which are available in the income tax portal of the assessee through the use of Aadhaar OTP or income tax OTP, which would be coming in from SMS mode and email mode, and pulling the data from the site and replicating it in the income tax return of the assessee, right? So this is a very useful tool because there are certain items which may not be present in the form 16 or 26 AS, right? So some of the items which can be pre-filled, like your interest coming from income tax refund or certain amount of dividends, etc., etc. So if you are pulling that data from the income tax portal, uh, there is a very great chance, excuse me. Sorry, I have taken up the student for the interview. One candidate is here. So already booked is taking live webinar. You already booked? No. Right. Sorry about the interruption. So what I was saying, that you can pre-fill the data from the income tax portal and replicate. So such a some of the data are interest on income tax refund or certain dividend income which are appearing in AIS but not appearing in 26 days. So if you are pre-filling the data, there is a very good chance that you would be minimizing the data. Also, some of the tax related items, say for example self-assessment tax paid or something like that, that can also be self-assessment or your advanced taxes. Those data can also be picked through pre-filling of data. Secondly, make use of AIS. Now, in annual information statement, all the types of data are available, right? For example, the income on which tax has been deducted, or any data that is given to provided by SFT filers, right? So banks reporting the FD interest or companies reporting the dividend, those items will be appearing in AIS. However, it has been observed that in certain cases, some of the data are duplicated or some of the data are not relevant for us. In that case, if you are relying on AIS, it could go a little wrong. Therefore, refer AIS, but do not prepare the income tax return solely based on AIS. You can cross verify the data with all the other income related document you may have. For example, say, for savings bank account interest, you may have to refer bank statement, but it is a very good starting point, the AIS. Right. Also, another thing is check disclosure requirement. Now, all of us, the practicing professionals, we know there are certain disclosure that is needed in income tax return. For example, if I'm holding foreign assets, that needs to be disclosed. If I'm holding a directorship, if I'm holding unlisted shares, all those details need to be disclosed at the time of filing the income tax return, right? Therefore, please make sure whatever your client is doing, whatever the information your client is providing, make sure you are taking those details and filling up the proper income tax return schedules, right? Uh, and finally, cross-check the computation with available documents, right? So once you are pre-filling the data, everything will be replicated from the income tax portal, so there is not a problem. However, before filing the income tax return, just cross-check whatever has been considered while making the computation. Whatever the data is available in the income tax portal, just cross-check it. Specifically, small details like TAN of the tax deductors, etc. You should be going through again. Also, sometimes it may so happen, if you are uploading 26 As and if you are pre-filling the data, sometimes it may so happen that one of the TDS entry gets duplicated, right? So in those cases, I would suggest that go through the TDS entry once and check for the tan mismatches, right? So that will ensure a foolproof and concrete income tax return filing and error-free income tax return filing. That is more important in this case. So thank you for joining with us. Thank you for having a discussion with best practices. Now let's take a look how you can file the income tax return using TaxCloud. Excuse me. All right. So over here, we have already loaded up TaxCloud software, TaxCloud portal. Now we are going to input the pre-filling that data, right? Over here we can see the details are already inputted. So now let's request for OTP, and you can get the OTP in two ways. Number one, you can get the OTP via Aadhaar OTP. Excuse me. right? You can get the data through Aadhaar OTP, or you can use the income tax department OTP. Now, if you are using income tax department OTP, please note OTP will be coming in two modes. Number one, through email mode. Number two, through SMS mode. You need to input both the OTPs to proceed ahead, right? Now, since we have used the Aadhaar OTP, after fetching all the data from the e-filing portal, it will show us a message that data has been pre-filled. Now, in that case, let's take a look at how it has happened. Okay. So over here, we can see the salary details and everything has been captured. Not only that, the deductions, whatever the deduction is there in Form 16, whatever the data is there in the portal, that has been captured as well. And if we go to other income segment, we will see that uh, the income tax refund, interest on income tax refund has been captured as well, right? So all the details that is already there in the income tax portal, it will be replicated over here. Now, sometimes it may so happen the income tax portal is not yet updated. In that case, you have to, proceed with other documents. But whatever the data that is available in the income tax portal, it will be replicated here. Now, moving ahead, we will see all the basic details like name, etc., has been already there. It's already there. Now, address should also be there. It is absolutely there. There is not a problem. Now, let's go to the income sources, right? Now, since all the data has been pre-filled automatically, right? We are not required to upload Form 16. However, to sake of understanding the software in a better way, we are just going to upload the Form 16, right? So let's upload the Form 16 quickly. Right. So after doing things, after uploading the Form 16, it will show what are the details. Form 16 has been read perfectly, and it will show a message. Now, if I go to again salary tab, we will see based on the details available in Form 16, everything has been replicated over here. Now, let's before going ahead, let's talk about the software design itself, right? So the software design has been designed in such a way which will help us go through the flow in a very natural manner. So firstly, we have to give personal details, then income details and deduction details, then tax paid, and finally the comparison between the tax regimes and filing of income tax return. Now, over here, all the salary details have been captured from Form 16 because we can see all the deductions are present. Now, we are going to save it and see in other income. Now, in other income, what we can see is income tax refund has been, interest on income tax refund has been captured through pre-filing mode, right? Now, if we come down here, we will see there are a lot of things which we have actually considered in income from other sources, right? For example, savings bank details, whatever income you are earning from savings bank account, it will be replicated over here. One nifty little feature we have added here is if you are inputting the interest coming from savings bank, it will the deduction under section 80TTA or 80TTB, whichever it may be applicable for you, will be directly flown to the deduction section, right? So in case if it is a senior citizen, if the assessee is a senior citizen, then the deduction will be claimed up till 15,000 rupees under 80 TTB. If normal citizen is there, in that case 80 TTA up to 10,000 rupees, right? So let's put a number over here to see how this is happening. Let's say 12,000 rupees is the income coming from savings bank account, right? So if we save it and go through the deduction section, we will see that 80 TTA the amount has been taken. Now, don't be afraid because the amount is showing as 12,000 rupees over here. While computing the deduction, only 10,000 rupees will be taken into consideration, right? So, if we see now over here, the TaxCloud software is automatically choosing new tax regime over old tax regime. However, if we compare and switch the tax regime, you will see that the deduction under section 80 TTA has already been taken care of, right? So 80 TTA is already been taken care of up to 10,000 rupees. Now, let's talk about the income sources under other incomes, income from other sources. So we have talked about savings bank account interest. We also have created a special category for interest coming from FDs, right? Now, we know that certain FD, PF interest are taxable, right? So if I am making a contribution in excess of 2.5 lakh rupees a year, in that case, the excess amount, interest earned on that excess amount becomes taxable in my hand, right? So we also have made this feature wherein you can claim this amount, whatever amount you are getting in excess of 2.5 lakh rupees of contribution. So we are showing it, right? Now, if you have or your assessee has any other sources of income, say for example NSC or any bond income, etc., it can be added over here. Also, uh, over here, there is a dividend income coming in. Now, dividend income coming here, it has not been captured. Why? There is a very simple reason, because we are supposed to show dividend income based on the dates that we have received them, right? So if we are showing, we are not reporting that date, it will not be taken into quarter wise fashion. Therefore, the computation would be wrong. Therefore, you can input the dividend. Now, there is another option to input the dividend through AIS and through broker statement. We are going to explore that option a little bit later on. Now, income from dividend from mutual fund has also its own place where you can declare that. Now, you can report any other income. For example, if you have let out certain machinery, etc., that can be reported as income from other sources, and uh, we also have disclosed certain areas as well, right? Now, from this year onwards, there is a clarification on VDA, right? Virtual digital asset. For example, NFTs or cryptocurrencies. Now, we need to report that cryptocurrency income over here in VDA income. So, if your client has some VDA income, then you can certainly report the VDA income over here, right? Now you can report the VDA income in this way. So you can put the name of the asset, you can put in the buy date, you can put in the sell date, you can put in the buy value, you can put in the sell value, right? And you still have the option to disclose under which head it's going to be taxed. As of now, as per the income tax return, there are two heads under which VDA gains can be taxed, right? So it can be capital gains or business income. So depending on the nature of activity that is being carried, or the intent of the assessee, you can report the income head, right? However, over here we need to mention one thing, that only the gains need to be considered, right? If you have earned gains, then the gains will be reported here and taxed accordingly. You can report the losses, but those losses will not be considered, right? So let's move on to any other incomes. Right. So if you have any pass-through incomes, right? For example, if you have some REIT, you have hold some REIT and you are getting some rental income or any other types of income which has the same nature of which will be taxed in your hand, your assessor's hand, in the same nature it is derived at. So that pass-through income needs to be reported over here. And finally, if your assessee has some exempt income, for example, interest coming from PPF or any tax-free bonds dividend, tax-free bonds interest, that you can report it over here, right? Now, income from gifts, right? So if you are getting some gift from your friends, right, any say 70,000 rupees or 80,000 rupees, you can report the gift amount over here and the tax will be calculated accordingly, right? So let's move on to the house property segment. Now, if you have a house property income, or if you have loss originating from house property, you have taken a home loan and you are paying the home loan, in that case those details need to be inputted over here. Now, as we all know that during the construction period there is no deduction available to the assessee. Only once the house is completed, the house is possessed by the assessee. From that period onwards, interest can be claimed. And the construction period interest, the construction period interest can be claimed over a period of 5 years once the house is completed from the year of completion itself, right? So you can simply input that detail, the construction period, pre-construction period interest, or interest for the entire thing, the self-occupied house property. You can put the amounts over here. Say for example, over here we are putting 1,20,000 rupees for construction for this year's interest, and we are putting, let's say, 2 lakh rupees for pre-construction period, right? We have to mention in which year the house got completed so that the software can take 1/5 of that amount or not. They can understand, right? Secondly, you have the option to input the address of the house property. Now, in ITR 1, it may not be required, but ITR 2, you have to put the address of the property. Now, over here again, we have made a nifty little feature wherein if the address of yourself and this loan taken house property are the same, you can simply click on the boxes and the details will be picked from the personal information, right? So let's put the details here, and you still have the option to declare the property, the co-owner details and etc., right? So let's move on. Not only sorry, let's come back to house property again. So we can choose what type of property that we are using. So we have talked about self-occupied house property, right? Now let's add another house property, which is a let out house property. We have the option to declare rental property or DLOP. So let's assume this is a rental property. Now let's assume we are getting a rent of 3 lakh rupees a year, right? And we are, let's say, paying 5,000 rupees of municipal taxes, right? So let's put those details there. Let's put the name of the tenant, and so we inputted the details, and all the details, see 30% standard deduction and everything, that will be calculated by the software automatically, right? So let's say for this I have paid 3 lakh rupees of interest, right? So let's put the thing, let's take the same address and move ahead, right? So for self-occupied property, it will, in the dashboard, once you input multiple house property details, a dashboard will be created and you will see what are the house property that you are holding and what kind of income you are getting from those house properties, right? So if we go there, if we finally go to this page, we will see that income from house property is limited to 2 lakh rupees, right? So, uh, because whether it is a let out house property or a self occupied house property, the maximum loss that can be adjusted with other income is 2 lakh rupees. However, if it is a let out house property, after adjusting the losses, remaining loss can be carried forward. So, this thing will happen over here. Now, we have seen other sources. We have seen house property income. Now, let's take a look at capital gains. Now, over here, we have done a very unique job, I would say, because ClearTax, the TaxCloud area software actually accepts all these brokers' details, right? So there is no requirement for you to update the details manually. So if your client has one of them as your broker, as their broker, you can simply ask them to share the correct document, right? And you will be able to upload the software, upload the capital gain statement, and all the details will be picked from it automatically. For example, if your client has HDFC Securities as their broker, you can select this HDFC Securities. It will take HDFC Securities, and you will be able to upload the statement. Not only that, uh, from the statement itself, the details of share sale or intraday sale or dividend, that will be picked, right? So over here as well, we have provided guide how to download that statement. All right. So you can, if your client is unsure how to get the statement, you can always download this capital gain statement guide, share it with them so that they can download the proper statement. Now let's take a look how the how the system actually works. Now over here, let's select Zerodha, right? Now, if you have Zerodha statement, you can just navigate and upload the statement. For Zerodha, it will be tax PNL statement. And once you upload the tax PNL statement, it will pick the details from the tax PNL statement. Also, another thing that we have done is not only the capital gains, we also pick multiple other things from this Zerodha statement. We pick dividend, derivatives, that is future and option. If you are doing intraday trading, all those items we are picking from Zerodha statement. Now, once you do that, let's just go ahead and proceed. It will take a little bit of time to pick the data from the statement and replicate. So bear with me for a second. Now, if you have any question, Nupur is there to help you out. And after the session is over, we will open the floor for certain amount of question and answer. Now, once all that data is picked from the capital gain statement, it will show, right? So over here, it is actually showing that capital gains has been picked from the Zerodha statement. Now we can cross refer with Zerodha statement itself whether it is coming or not, right? So let's take a look at Zerodha statement. See, right. Right. So this is a Zerodha statement. We can see there are multiple sales of different companies, and if we are going here, we can see those details are already being captured from the statement itself. Not only that, if we see in the Zerodha statement, we have certain dividend incomes as well, right? So that dividend income will also be captured from this statement automatically, thereby reducing a lot of time of you for inputting the details, right? Let's track down to other income segment, and we will see all the details are being captured, right? So you will see it will mention the ISIN code and it will mention the name of the company, right? So all the details are being picked from Zerodha statement and being replicated over here, thereby saving a lot of time. Now let's save it and move ahead. Unfortunately, for this we have only capital gains. But if your client does have some transaction or intraday trading, you will see that will be reported under appropriate head, right? So if your client has some intraday trading, then it will be reported as speculation income. Now let's come to business and profession. Now in business and profession, you can report. Sorry, let's just share the screen quickly again. Right. So let's come to business and profession. Now, if you are there, might be a lot of types of business your client are into. So they can be a partner in a partnership firm, wherein thereby getting a partnership remuneration. They can be opting for 44AD presumptive taxation. They can be opting for 44ADA professionals, right? They can be opting for presumptive taxation under goods carrier, or they can completely ignore presumptive taxation and maintain books of accounts and report income accordingly. So we have tried to accommodate various types of situation, various types of sections, wherein you will be able to report the income properly. So let's take a look under 44AD. Now, 44AD, you have to mention certain items. For example, you have to mention the nature of business, what is the trade name, what type of thing that you are doing. Also, whether it is a digital transaction received within the due date of filing the income tax return, or non-digital transaction, or digital transaction but received after the due date of income tax return. Based on the status of income that you are getting, you are supposed to report that income, right? So let's assume there is a turnover happening, right? Which is coming to the SSE through digital transaction mode, and that too before the return filing due date. Therefore, we can simply put at least that amount, at least 6%. If we wish, we can make it a little more than that as well. That's not a problem, and we will be able to move ahead, right? So, right, all that. Oh, sorry. Right. So we have, oh sorry, we have written it under presumptive taxation. Okay, not a problem. Let's pick anything, right? Save it and move ahead. Now you will see, uh, since I am opting for presumptive taxation and I was trying to write profession, it will automatically give me an error, right? So if you are making a mistake, or unknowingly, if you are making a mistake unknowingly, it will clearly show that there is some error that is happening then and there, so that you will be able to rectify the mistake. Now, for presumptive taxation opting, I have to maintain certain financial particulars, right? So you can get these details from the client and input the details, right? For the time sake of time, we are just going ahead and putting some random numbers over here. Right, so presumptive taxation is there. Now if you have any other business, you can simply input the detail. For example, let's assume we have a business for which we are maintaining books of accounts, right? We can easily mention what type of business we are into. Say, for example, we are manufacturing of animal feeds, right? And after there, we are going to pick something and fill in the balance sheet and profit and loss, right? So we actually have also made it data import. We are importing the data. So if you have a Excel trial balance, you can use our trial balance, the Excel template of TaxCloud trial balance, and input the data and use that to upload the trial balance so that the amount would be segregated in proper heads, right? So let's put some amount in here. Let's say there is a capital of 1 lakh, right? Let's say there is some amount of bank, okay, right? Now, let's say there is some trading going on. So sale of goods is happening amounting to, let's say, 1 lakh rupees, right? And for which I am incurring certain expenses, right? So, for example, we are putting some direct expenses. Others. 75,000 rupees. So then after putting that, there will be a profit of 25,000 rupees. Now this profit will then be carried towards the balance sheet, right? Now, if we are carrying this to balance sheet, my capital will most definitely be changing. So we need to write as 1,25,000 rupees. Similarly, we are going to change the bank account also. So 1,25,000 rupees, and we are done with balance sheet, right? So let's just save it and move ahead, right? So, it's just sorry, I forgot to save this thing. That is why the error has happened. So after saving, everything looks fine, and we can just move ahead, right? So we also have enabled the tax audit segment, wherein you can fill in the 3CA or 3CD form, and based on your details, it will be picked up. Now, uh, after doing that, let's go to deduction section. Now, from the form 16 itself, it has picked up the deduction amount, but you still have the option to declare if your client has any other modes of investment, right? There's a possibility the client has missed out to declare those incomes to their employer, right? So in that case, you still have the option to claim them at the time of filing the income tax return. Let's assume there is a claim of ELSS contribution, right? Let's assume it is coming to 1,25,000 rupees, right? So it will be claimed along with that 21,600 rupees of original claim, right? So after inputting that, we will move ahead. Now we will go to the medical insurance section. Under ATD, there is a claim of this 25,000 rupees, and for parents, for senior citizen parents, the amount is 50,000 rupees. Again, if you have missed the opportunity to declare it, you can certainly declare it. In case parents are not covered under medical insurance, you can claim the amount under medical expenditure as well. So there should not be any trouble whatsoever. Now you can save it, and over here we have included many more other deduction. For example, 80DD or 80U for special cases. Based on the data available for you, you can replicate the details over here. Right. Now, from here onwards, we will see the tax deduction, whatever the tax that has been deducted. Now, we can also input the data directly from 26 A's. So all we have to do is simply upload 26 A's, and again, the data will be picked automatically. Unfortunately, in these 26 A's, there is no TDS data apart from salary, so nothing will be replicated. No TDS will be replicated. However, if there is a caution for you, if you are uploading 26 A's and both the broker statement, there is a chance the dividend would be picked twice. So just rely on one of them and move ahead with the filing. Therefore, after uploading 26 A's, I'm just going to go through this thing. I'm just going to go through the other income, wherein I will be able to see whether it has been claimed twice or not. Now we can see for one of the organization or all the organization, it has been captured twice. Therefore, we are going to reduce this amount. We are going to delete this amount which is coming from 26 A's. This can be a very crucial step. So please be careful with this, right? So we have saved this, right? And we are at now tax filing page. Now, if the client has certain tax payable, you can input the details of self tax payment over here, right? You can input the entry over here via add entry. You can input the details of BSR code, your date of payment, challan number, etc., etc., and those details will be captured. Also, loss summary segment is also present over here, but in previous year, if you have incurred certain amount of losses, you can report them to carry them forward. Right now, if you are reporting these losses, in that case, capital gains will be set off in the tax computation. So again, it will reduce a lot of burden for you. And finally, on the tax filing page, there will be certain bank info and all the details. Now, these details will be coming from the pre-filling of the income tax portal itself. So there will not be, it will not be necessary for you to do this, right? So all the details will be replicated. Now, under more info, there are a lot of grounds that we have covered. So residential status, if I'm holding unlisted shares, if I'm holding foreign shares, if I'm holding directorship, all the details can be inputted over here. For example, for residential status, if I wish to change residential status, I will be able to do it very easily from this segment, right? So in this case, this is a resident. Right, let's say certain foreign assets are held, right? Let's say there are foreign bank accounts, right? So you can input the detail under foreign assets tab, and details of foreign bank account you can give, right? To declare foreign assets, foreign bank accounts, and etc., there are certain additional details that will be needed. For example, the name of the banking institute, the address, peak balance, account opening date, etc., etc., SWIFT code. So those details will be needed, which you need to collect from the assessee, right? Now, once you do that, once you declare everything, you will be taken to the very last page, that is e-filing. Also, one tab is the special option. So if you have a defective notice, or if you are filing a revised tax return, or if you are filing an ITR, those details will be available. Those options will be available under special options tab. Now, finally, we will be coming to the e-filing tab. wherein we can simply go ahead and file the income tax return. We also have the option to download the tax detail and sorry, you also have the option to download the tax computation. You also have the option to send the computation directly to the assessee. Now whatever the email address you are putting at basic information tab, that will be taken for consideration. Now based on the data that you have inputted, your ITR form will be selected. Not only that, uh, based on the data that you are inputting, all the other details, the regime and all, they will be selected as well. Also in this very last page, you can opt in or opt out of new tax regime. However, to do that, you need to input that form 10IE. Now there are others, certain other special features available in TaxCloud, for which I'm going to go through very quickly. So if your client has worked abroad or holding some foreign shares, right, you need to claim tax credit for under section 90, right? So section 90 relief can be taken under this thing, sorry, under more information tab, right? So you need to input the details of schedule, sorry, foreign, this tab over here. And if you are holding certain income FSI, you need to input the details over here as well. uh, and finally, DTAA claim, everything will be there. One thing quickly to be said over here, if you're making a claim for foreign tax credit for taxes that you have paid outside India, form number 67 needs to be filed. We are currently on the process of filing form 67 through the portal itself. However, as of now, it is not yet going on. Therefore, you need to file form number 67 in the portal of the assessee, right? So this is how you can actually prepare the tax computation using TaxCloud. And hopefully you have understood how this software can impact in minimizing the time for you to compute the income tax return and file the income tax return. Now, I hope my colleague Nupur has been addressing your queries in the chat box. But still, if you have any question, please go ahead, ask the question. We can start up the question and answer session now. Okay, so there are certain questions coming on. For example, foreign dividend received on foreign unlisted shares. Okay, so first of all, foreign dividend needs to be reported. Foreign dividend needs to be reported under income from other sources tab. Let me just show this to you. The income needs to be reported under income from other sources, right? In under any other income. However, to claim the tax paid, FTC paid, you have to go to tax filing, go to more info, and from there you need to select one of these condition apply to me, foreign assets and income and taxes. Go to schedule FSI, make the claim of foreign tax credit over here, right? It will be that simple. However, please don't forget to file form number 67 in this case if you are claiming foreign tax credit. Right. TDS on receipt on foreign remittance. Yes. So that needs to be reported over here under tax paid TDS section. Sorry, TDS section. So you can input the data manually or you can upload form 26S and it will be replicated over here automatically under non-salary TDS. Okay. E-verify delay last year. All right. In that case, the return has been invalidated. So you can send the acknowledgement copy, signed acknowledgement copy to CPC and ask for confirmation of delay. Okay. How to file 150 rectification? Okay. So you can file a rectification over here for this. There you need to go to option, advanced option, and prepare rectification under 139.9. So basically, if you have a defective return, in that case you will be able to download rectification JSON under this thing. Also, you can upload the JSON over here in the TaxCloud software, wherein all the data will be replicated and you will be able to file 154 rectification. 154 rectification, correct. Okay. Preview of the ITR form, that feature we are bringing out very soon. That is on the pipeline. Yes, slab wise computation can also be shown, so that will be there in the tax computation sheet. So if we download the tax computation sheet, you will be able to see how the tax is being computed slab wise. Right. My screen is not visible. Let me just share the screen quickly. Okay. Right. Over here in this computation, you can see there is a normal tax breakup, right? So any income that is happening, any tax that is happening on special rate, it will not be there. But it will show what is the income tax at the rate of 15%, that is short-term capital gains on equity shares. And any other normal rate of tax is there, it will be showing in this way in the tax computation sheet. Right. You can file a revised tax return to claim the TDS. Right. So if your client has received RSUs or ESPPs, those are foreign shares and they need to be reported under Schedule FA. Well, if there is a self-occupied property in that case, which is not the address of the assessee, right? The address of assessee putting in his general section. In that case, you need to input the details manually. We always have that option open. You can update the data manually. Actually, right now we are providing this capital gains, sorry, this computation only. So, if we are reporting all the capital gains, the file should be a little bit heavy. Yes. Okay, foreign unlisted shares need to be reported under capital gains. Let me just show you. Go to income sources, capital gains. Over here you will see there are lot of options, right? If it is a foreign shares, you can input stock option and RSUs, right? You can input foreign listed shares or unlisted shares. Accordingly, it will be picked. After comparing the new regime and old tax regime, so if the client is having, if your client is having business income, business or professional income, in that case, Form 10IE needs to be submitted, right? So if you are filing ITR 1 or 2, in that case, Form 10IE need not be filed. For ITR 3 and 4, yes, definitely it needs to be filed. Right. Nupur over here will be sharing a feedback sheet. If you could just spare a couple of minutes time to provide feedback, that would be really, really wonderful. So thank you so very much. All right. So in couple of minutes time, we will be concluding the session. If you have any question, please drop those questions. Thank you.